Hello my brothers, I hope you're all well. Black Magic made a comment under my recent video and wanted to discuss about the potential of individuals. I guess the difference between men and women in society. So I decided to name this topic Physical and Social Inequality and Differences. I will try to keep this relatively short because it can just get out of control if I was to just dwell too deep into it. Before I start talking deeply about this topic, I'm starting with a warning. First of all, I will be speaking generally on the generalized aspects that differ between the two sexes. Then I will speak specifically about the individual. Now, what's important to note before we start is the difference proposed in these videos are generally accepted truths. However, these differences may mean nothing to the individual. Certainly, individuals can vary from the norm. There is, like I said previously, no absolute truth when it comes to organic systems. There is generalized rules that describe the 2 to 3 standard deviation curves of the population of animals, but at the extreme ends of it there is always outliers. These outliers will show how for an individual these aspects of generalized and accepted behaviors are not something that describes them. That's where the basis of the no-alt theory comes in, something that I said I disagree with at length in a previous video. So now that we got that out of the way, let's start. The normal and default mode in which the human biology operates is on the basis of 46 chromosomes. These chromosomes are mirror links of each other with minute differences. However, in a female at any one time, it's 45 chromosomes that operate, as one of the two X's is switched off. It is encoding for some shit, but it's generally one of the two X's that carries the information. That's why X-linked genetic diseases do not show up with their negative side effects in women as much as they do so in men. The Y chromosome encodes for 78 genes. The X chromosome encodes for 2000 genes. A lot of women say that men are incomplete because of the lack of those genes. However, biologically speaking, men have 78 genes extra that encode simply for male behavior and male attributes. The default mode for evolution, at least embryologically speaking, is for the fetus to become a female. The organs at the initial stages are exactly the same as the ones that form a fetus into a female. However, at some point during gestation, the Mullerian inhibiting hormone is released and some of those organs atrophy, and then male organs develop from the same organs that would normally form female genitals. For example, the penis is an extension of the clitoris. Testosterone starts to get produced from the testes, and then differentiation between the male and female take place. I'm adding links for both the pre-mentioned statements in the description below for anyone to access. Now, these subtle differences change the biology of the two sexes drastically. Yes, we all have more or less the same biochemistry. We are the same species after all. However, brain development, muscle development, genital development, hip-to-waist ratios are all encoded in these small differences. Those extra 78 genes, let's call them. So moving on from that point, it goes without question that we have to assume that the sexes are different. So much in terms of their behavior, but also in terms of their appearance and biology. Something that I don't think any MGTOW will disagree with. Men, generally speaking, are stronger. Women, generally speaking, are weaker. Men, generally speaking, are better at spatial orientation. Women are worse. Women are better at interacting with others and in terms of empathy. Men are a lot worse in terms of that. Women, generally speaking, can multitask. Men, generally speaking, can't multitask. Right now that we have accepted these differences, which are really subtle, let's address how these differences translate in our behaviors and thinking patterns. Compartmentalization is a strongly genetic trait. Men are able to categorize in their brains the majority of their living experiences. I think they were supposed to act different roles, be parts of different groups like hunting, building, leading. All of these things may have been encoded in one brain, and as such, the male brain had to learn from the beginning where his place in each of those groups were. So the ability of the male brain in building alternative realities that apply to each situation is much better than the female brain. Again, I'm generally speaking here. There's these boxes, if you like, where things fit in, and one box has no access to the other box, and that's why men are a lot more likely to not understand why females will be mixing different aspects from different boxes. Female brain is much more interconnected. The corpus callosum, the bridge between the two hemispheres, is so much more developed, let's say, in the female brain when compared to the male brain. As such, empathy, emotions, art is so much more readily available to the female, as she has a lot more access between her two hemispheres than most men do. Men with these compartments that form their brain can with a lot of difficulty see outside those boxes and understand any experiences outside the realm of the box which they are operating in. However, women are much more open to these influences. Now that we have accepted these differences that form our biology and encode our brain, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that the males and females of our species will be experiencing the world quite differently. That means that the reality that they perceive is a reality that will be very difficult for a man to imagine. From my conversations with female friends, the females in my life, my huge family experience, and the fact that I had to deal with so much feminine bullshit, I have to make the assumption of the following. The information, for a female speaking, enters from all our sensory centers and spreads between the hemispheres to comprehended and understood behaviors. Now, all this information is cross-linked and speaks to different aspects of a woman's life. This means work, personal life, emotional well-being, sense of self, social standing, etc., etc., etc. All these things are instantly taking in the information. Any contradicting information or any information that may be causing her emotional distress, even though it may be outside of the male box of experience at the time, will cause a female to get upset. This seems to be why men have no idea why their women got upset out of nowhere. Moreover, due to being upset and operating at this strange level of human experience, a female will feel being upset but will not be able to understand at the time which one of the aspects of her life that this affects her in. It's a normal human experience, this. We know we got upset, but we don't know what made us upset. So the woman will scan her different and interlinked realities and find one that makes sense to her and give you an explanation. The fact of the matter is, she's not even sure herself what made her upset. And as such, you get these female responses that go along the lines that you should know and you should go and figure it out for yourself. Because she doesn't know herself either. And this is not something that is distinctly female, it is something that is male as well. You get upset and you don't know what it is for. But you only need to search in one box and find the explanation. However, like we said previously, you're much worse when it comes to your emotions than women are. So we're both fucked in both genders in understanding our emotions anyway. Now, these distinct worldviews create for a world with a constant struggle between the interactions of the two sexes. Men want to talk man speech and women want to talk women's speech. You might think that our language is a common aspect of our behavior. However, when you understand that most of our communication is done on body language and subconscious cues, then you understand that if our worldviews differ, there will be a lot of miscommunication and drama unfolding. And that's completely fine, because that used to be kept only in the isolation of the household. Nowadays, women are our social equals. Some will even extend to say that there are overlords, something which I'm generally prone to agreeing with. But due to the pre-mentioned differences in our worldviews, our differences in understanding, compartmentalization, and overall drives, then the differences form a lot more problems. Sure, they create for a lot more creative opportunities, but they disturb the harmony as well. This is because in the workplace, in society, in our everyday relationships, let's say, women are now holding all the cards. These cards say you better behave and not hurt my feelings, or else you might be liable for sexual harassment, rape charges, getting fired, and what have you. The basis of male-to-male interaction which is mixed in sexual comments, physical and verbal abuse, and over-the-top comments is now completely not allowed. However, the feminine culture is allowed to thrive in the workplace because we don't care to stop it. The reason being we don't understand it and it doesn't fit in any of our boxes, so we just choose to not bother with it. However, our behavior may fit female boxes, so they care and get angry about it. Now, as a last point of all this, I wanted to talk about potential, something which I briefly touched on my previous video, which can be found in the description below as well. This is the point where the individual comes in. There is a lot of differences between the sexes, and I talked about them previously. Most of them stem from our biology and are strongly influenced by nurture. So for the individual, be it man or a woman, there is exactly the same potential in greatness. What I mean by that is that everyone, no matter what his dreams and aspirations and upbringing is, there is freedom of information around him or her. The opportunities are open for all of us to study and become who we want to be. The resources are readily available at our disposals, and that means that we are all capable of becoming who we want to be, while we bear in mind, of course, the limitations imposed on us by nature. So that being said, a woman can easily become a doctor, an engineer, a garbage disposal collection person, a road engineer, a truck driver, scuba diver, a marine, a soldier, and everything a man can be as well. A woman can be as equal and better than any man if her biology and of course her brain wiring allows her to do that. These jobs are mixed, and some of them are physically demanding, and of course it goes without saying that more men will be better at doing those jobs than women are. However, women with the physical abilities that have been trained and are at the same level of a man at that specific job, they can do exactly the same things that a man can. Also, even subjects which fit the male brain predominantly, such as engineering, can of course be taken up by women, if they were born with the right brain and have nurtured that brain to develop the correct wiring for that particular purpose. Again, the generalizations are some things women are better at, especially things that involve a lot of human interaction, and men are better in other things. That does not mean that for the individual any of those things are strictly true. Generalizations take no consideration of the individual, who might be different in terms of their body structure, brain structure, and of course their upbringing. As such, I personally believe that women and men can do all jobs equally well. However, generally speaking, more men will be better in some jobs and more women will be better at other jobs. That's because of the wiring that takes place by default in our brains, either in the presence of predominantly testosterone or predominantly female hormones. That's simply biology, and unfortunately, biology we will not be able to change no matter how hard we try over 100 years. This is the type of potential that I talked about, and this is the reason why we have to assume that if we are physically different, then we have to be operating on a social level quite differently as well. These differences can make us unequal in a lot of aspects of our interactions, where men and women will have strengths and weaknesses on different things. That goes without saying that it extends to university subjects and of course the jobs that we can do, but this will never apply to the individual. That's why programs that encourage the involvement of women in science, so that it's 50-50, let's say, take into no consideration the scientifically proven differences that I described above. If we think that men and women are equal in society, then we don't have to assume that we are all created equal. We're not. And what's one man's and one woman's strength may be another man's and another woman's weakness, which means, in essence, opportunities are now equal for both sexes, and there needs to be no more encouragement into which path one sex or the other sex should take. Humans are inherently good at some things and bad in others, and those strengths and weaknesses will eventually lead them to the right path. That's all I have to say on this subject. This was Nick Kuchowski talking about all things man. Please subscribe to my channel for more updates.